Bernie had a big night last night. He creamed Hillary in Oregon and virtually tied her in Kentucky. Can Bernie's momentum help him overtake Hillary in this primary? Right now, let's ask California Bernie supporter Anthony Tall if he still holds out hope that Bernie can beat Hillary. Anthony, congratulations on another big night for Bernie last night. But why does he keep beating her so late in this primary season? Shouldn't she have this all wrapped up by now?
Well, I think that it just goes to show that if Bernie had been given a fair shot from the beginning, I think he would have probably won a lot of earlier states, which is why a lot of Democrats are upset. But he keeps winning because he's got momentum. More people are learning about his message now, and he's obviously a better candidate against Trump. All the polls show that.
Okay, so explain that, though, to us, Anthony. For those who aren't wonks like you and me who watched all the early primaries, what happened there that was unfair?
Well, one of the major things that I know we all have a problem with as Bernie supporters is the fact that Bernie does so well with independents, and Hillary was able to have several primaries closed where independents weren't able to vote, which kind of bears itself out in the polls against Trump. Another thing was these late night debates early on in the campaign where Bernie could have got his message out to a lot more people, and they were on like Saturday night at like 12 at night, so no one was watching them. You know, so we do feel as if it was always just rigged for the Clintons and for Hillary, and Bernie hasn't gotten a fair shake. But those two reasons I think are the major reasons. Just for, people who are wants like me and you can understand what's going on.
So what's going to happen now? I mean, I feel like the Bernie supporters, they're not going away. I mean, y'all aren't just going to fade back into the woodwork. I don't know what's going to happen going forward. What is your prediction? I mean, there are basically three options, and that is that Bernie just gets out and endorses Hillary. Two, that Bernie maybe runs as an independent, or three, that Bernie supporters kind of each go their own way. Some of those, I think 30% of them said they'd probably end up going for Donald Trump. That won't work very well, though, for the Democrat Party. So what's your prediction?
Well, I think it's going to be a mix of, I don't think it'll be the second. I don't think Bernie's going to run as an independent, but I do think of the three choices, you will see a mix between the three, and probably a ladder of the third, more of the third, where a lot of Bernie supporters, like I said, like I told you, Dr. Gina, I know we have totally different views on how politics and policy should go, but a lot of people just want this system of to be kind of overturned.
Yeah.
And I think a lot might go to Trump. That's just my opinion right now. And anecdotally from talking to people, I think a lot of Bernie supporters, and polls show that as well, a lot of Bernie supporters are so disenfranchised with the system that they probably will go to Trump. Along with that, remember, Hillary hasn't just been on fire. I mean, she's kind of just been kind of there, and everybody knows what happened when Obama beat her in 2008. It was supposed to be her turn, and that didn't go her way. So it's kind of like a lot of superdelegates just jumped on her side very early, but the political mood is for change, whether it's on the Republican side or on the Democratic side. The political mood is for change. We don't want the same people in there doing the same things that's been going on for years.
Yeah. And so what is the number one thing you hear, Anthony, when people cite what is the worst thing about Hillary? I mean, I know she's labeled establishment, and I totally get that. Just exactly like many of the candidates, in my opinion, were establishment on the GOP side of things too. But what specifically is the great big no way we can vote for her because fill in the blank for me?
Well, I don't know if it's no lady could vote for her. I think Hillary's one of her detriments is she seems to say a lot of things and then change, and she seems to go with the political win. She's for gay marriage, or she's against gay marriage, now she's for it. So whatever the political mood is, Hillary tends to agree with that. So I think a lot of people find it hard to vote for her, if I could sum it up and fill in the blanks you gave, for the baggage that she has. She brings a lot of baggage. She brings a memory of the 90s back. From when her husband was the president. And, this is just a whole different cycle. It's a whole different mood. in the country, all from all over, from all parts, and a lot of people aren't just willing to go back to all of the allegations and baggage that the Clintons carried.
Right.
And I think that's a major detriment to her. I really do.
New documentary coming out by my friend Peter Schweitzer called Clinton Cash. In that book, in that documentary, he exposes a lot of things that the Clintons have done. But basically, Hillary herself said, 15, 16 years ago, when they left the White House, they were flat broke. Those are her words, not mine. And somehow they've made upward of $100 million for basically giving speeches while Hillary was in office. One of those interesting things that happened was the Keystone Pipeline that Hillary had said she was against. All of a sudden, Bill, within days of her becoming Secretary of State, Bill went and gave a speech for I forget how many millions. And 4 days later, guess what? Hillary was voting in favor of the Keystone Pipeline, and one of the major investors was one of the people that had Bill give the speech. Do those kinds of things play into the feeling that Hillary is just basically pay to play with Bernie supporters?
Yeah, it does. It does. And that's just one of the examples. It's just this example of Hillary and the Clintons where, just when, you think they might do the right thing, there always has to be a little side story to what's going on. Or there always has to be these things that seem to just bother you a lot, like the Keystone Pipeline, or her vote on the war, or her vote on gay marriage, or going into Michigan and saying that she voted for the bailout. Things like that, in a deceptive way with regard to the way she was trying to argue it against Bernie. Just things like that just kind of, a lot of people, that's not the mood of the country anymore. Don't get me wrong, it would be very momentous for us to have the first woman president, but there's so many other women that are qualified to be president. And I think the mood among a lot of Democrats that I talk to, and this is women as well, is just like, it doesn't have to be her just because she might feel like she has a right, or her husband was the president and she kind of feels as if she got robbed by President Obama. Why does it have to be her? And that's kind of the mood. Kind of reminds me
of the Bob Dole. I remember it was supposed to be his turn, and then John McCain, it was supposed to be his turn. And I just don't think that the President of the United States should be about whose turn it is. But anyway, Anthony, I'm simpatico with you. At least I'm feeling ousted by our party a lot of times. And hey, on our side, things ended up going our way. So it'll be interesting to watch what happens on your side. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Gina.